Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Baseline Podshow, where we bring project planners, project engineers, onto the show, to share their journey and their story into planning, how they started, difficulties in planning, and a thing or two for people to take away from the show as well, like people that want to go into planning, and planners alike that want to, learn a thing or two from their story in order to improve their experience or their skills to say, and on this particular episode, I've got Leonard. Leonard here is from all the way from Nigeria, guys. And we tend to talk to planners all over the world, just to share their journey and their story, because we all need that personal experience for us to kind of like learn on the job as well. And Leonard, on this show, we tend to start from the beginning, how you started planning, why, why did you go into planning? Was it a passion, interest, or someone going into planning? So it's just for us to just share a bit of your journey and experiences as well, difficulties, so we can take a thing or two from it, So if you don't mind, tell us about yours, a bit about yourself and why planning in general.
Okay, thank you so much for bringing me here. Welcome again, everybody. I'm here on the Baseline, and it's an interesting episode. I've followed this episode like different episodes, so it's been very interesting for me to watch other planners come on board and talk about their journey.
Thank you.
And tonight I'm here to talk about my own journey too. It's not really been an easy journey, but to say the least, it's been a beautiful journey. I wish I had started earlier than I started, even if I started earlier, but it's been really wonderful for me. I will just go back to my background. I'm an electrical engineer by will I use by background, by profession, so I did power engineering. In the engineering area, you just have to choose area of specialization. So during my time, I had to choose power engineering as my area of specialization. That was in my fourth year in the university, so I chose that. But looking the way Nigerian is, Nigeria is quite different from every other clime. And things are a little bit difficult here this way, if you understand what I mean. Like, getting through university, coming out, not getting a job is one thing that has always been an issue for us here. So you need skills in this country for you to succeed, because not just having a degree. A lot of people have the same degree you have, but what is going to differentiate you from the other person is a skill you are able to acquire, within this time.
Absolutely.
So when I was done with school, trying to get a job, it wasn't really easy for me, and then somehow I happened to have an in-law that runs a planning outfit. Okay, what they do is like they train people in project management, in ICs, in a lot of software engineering courses.
Tools.
So once they train you, they send you out to do some of this job, and they have some jobs with Shell. So when I was doing my youth service, and my one of my aunts, spoke to me, and she was like, "What are you doing? I have my in-law is into this. Why don't you come on board to see how you can equip yourself with some of these skills? You might need it." And I thought to myself, I'm an engineer, an electrical engineer for that matter. So why do I need a project management skill? I don't think it's important to me. But then again, I gave it a second thought, and I said, okay, let me just try and see what happens. So I got on board, had the trainings and all of that. It was quite interesting, but then again, my mind wasn't in planning, though I had gathered the skill. I was asking myself, where am I going to need this? Where am I going to use this? Am I really going to use this? So, but along the line, I traveled to Lagos. So a friend of mine from Port Harcourt came into Lagos also, and he said he came for an interview. And I was like, what's this interview for? Chevron, Nigeria was trying to employ him as a project planner. Like, what? Project planner? How much are they going to pay? He said, it was around 600,000 then. It was big money. I was like, 600,000.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it was a lot of money. Like, are you kidding me? 600K. What am I doing, man? So immediately my aunt, she's late now. Teresa, the Korean girl, she's late now. So she was one of my greatest supports. So she had to give me money to go and do an advanced course in planning, because I had done this thing before, but seeing my friend now getting a job to earn about 600,000, that's big money in Nigeria, man. So what I did was to do an advanced course. And the moment I finished that advanced course, I had a job. There was a job already waiting for me.
Is it
A
from
friend,
your uncle's company or somewhere else?
no. Okay, like how it happened. There was a friend, this very guy that had that job with Chevron. So an opportunity came and he reached out to me. Okay, there's an opportunity. Do you want to work? I said, yes, I want to. So he sent my details and all of that. So they contacted me and I traveled from Port Harcourt down to Lagos. And I went for the interview. The very day I went to the interview, it was a white guy, McPenna, he's from, I think, either Newcastle or Nottingham, one of those, because I know he used to travel back then to watch when they played the Premiership. So
Okay.
he loves football so much. So when I came in for the interview, we had the chit chat and all of that. That same day, they asked me to resume. I was like, wow, is that so easy? Like, so they have been looking for a planner for so long. The guy that was a planner there was a Filipino, and I think they were paying him too much. So they needed somebody from Nigeria that they can pay less and and still get the job done. So I got on board. He stayed for like 2 weeks before he left. So he put me through certain things. I got my acquaintance. So the software they were using MS. No, they had MS Project, but we're using Primavera. So and this is something I had already grounded myself in and all of that. Though I've had prior experience to that, using it when I was my in-laws place, so I had to use that too for some of the shell projects I was sent to do some works, so that alone gave me some experience. So it's quite easy for me to integrate and, started doing things for myself. So that's how my journey started. And today I've moved from that I moved into different companies. I've gone into construction, I've gone into oil and gas, and currently I'm in gas, just gas. So
Just
it's been
guess.
so it's been a journey for me.
Yeah, nice one, Leonard. What a wonderful story. But would you say that, your first degree, how important was your first degree in getting into planning? Did that help you in any way?
Yes, I would say that did, because imagine someone who hasn't had a first education, their understanding is going to be different. You're not going to grab a lot of things as easy as I did, because I had prior information on certain things. So it was quite easy for me to assimilate, and understand the process, how this process works. Because if you check the whole project management system process, how it works, it's actually almost the same way the Primavera works, the planning process works. Because in the planning process, you encounter all the whole areas of the project management, process. There is chain management, there is planning, there is resource, there is communication, and all of that. So the whole of this, instrument makes the whole project management system, easy and enjoyable. So if you go through Primavera, you see all these things there play out, in Primavera. But if you don't have great understanding, you won't understand that the whole project management system plays out in Primavera. It took me a little while, but I was quick to grab the whole system. If you understand the whole Primavera process, how things are being done, you put your resource, your timing, your planning, the initiation, and all of that. All of this makes all the whole project management process easy to understand. So
Mm.
my first degree really gave me an opening, for me to quickly grab and understand how this process work. And being that is an engineering field, most of the things we do are all engineering. either building, either construction, either oil and gas, either telecoms. All of them are just in engineering. So having an understanding, from your first year to your final year, you go through other disciplines, not just your field as electrical engineer. So you go into construction, that's civil. You go into mechanical. You go into technicals. You go into GSC and all of that. So all of these things helped me to really build myself up.
Actually spot on there, because when you have the prior knowledge is good, and again you also know your duration as well, because knowing the duration of activities and the
Yes.
follow-on activities, that really helps as well in terms of mastering your craft. But starting out, what would you say was the most difficult thing you faced? Because in any career, there's always that thing that's kind of like sets you back. For you, what was that thing you say, oh, this is one thing that I was actually not really afraid of, but kind of like, probably want to focus on more to progress?
Okay. I'll tell you a thing. When I actually start working as a project planner, I had a lot of difficulties, because I just finished learning about the software. I had a certification for the software, using the software, but I hadn't worked as a project planner before. So it's quite new. So there's a difference between having to do this on the system and having to do this physically, where you see these activities, you confront these activities, you update these activities, and all of that. So when I got into the business, when I got into the project planning business, there were a lot of things that I didn't know at the time. Like I'll tell you, I didn't know about the PMS, which is the project management, sorry, the project progress measurement system. It's not on the Primavera area, it's on Excel. So you have to design this so you're able to use this to measure progress.
Like you
I
track,
didn't know about this.
you track your
Yeah,
activities.
yes, it's a tracker.
Progress tracker.
Different activities and different WBS levels. So you know which weight goes for engineering, which weight goes for construction. You know how many weights each of them are contributing to the overall, progress of that activity. Yeah, of that project. So I didn't really have, much knowledge about that. Again, when I got into it, there was somebody who really helped me out. He was on the client side, so we were offering the service. And what they do is to monitor us and see how we do. Then we send our reports to them. But he was a nice guy, and he was able to really help me and then, mentor me in that area. And that really helped me and changed the whole thing. And that was that was the key and my selling points. So when I was moving to new companies, that was some of the things they looked out for, to employ me, because I had that knowledge to be able to determine the weights as per each activity, measurements, updates, and all of that, to have accurate, plan versus actual and all of that. So that was really one of the areas I had issues, but I was able to overcome these issues. And today is history.
Yeah, good. But what would you say, about report writing? Because planning is plan, like you plan your activities, you actualize the activities, collect progress, you do all that, but there's another aspect of planning that I think planners don't really pay attention to,
Yeah.
which is the area of reporting. So for you, what is your experience around reporting? Because when you do your update and all that, to present your report to the stakeholders, you need to write a report, which sometimes for me, I think starting out, that was one area no one told me about, until I was told to write a report. I was like, oh my God, what's this? What's this reporting about? But for you, what is your experience about reporting? Just to give a bit of picture to people that will listen to this and watch this as well, like, a bit of like that want to go into planning as well, a bit of picture, or review to, like, this is what report is like, and these were the things I faced, doing writing my first report and stuff.
Okay, so when you start up as a project planner, reporting is never one of those things I tell you about. They only teach you how to use the software, and that's it. The rest
Yes.
you know how to sort that yourself. So for me, when I came in, I met a system of reporting which wasn't really so cool. It was just normal. You just you just copy the activities, the duration, the percentage, then you highlight the activities that were done for that week in yellow, and you put okay, plan this percent actual. But it wasn't really. It doesn't tell anything. Like it wasn't really a good reporting. But over time, I graduated to learning how to develop reports. So what I did was to go online to search for other reports and try to tailor them into the kind of report I want. And over time, I've been, improving on those reports. Like what I have currently, if you see my reporting now currently, is fantastic. Is what I call it is the project dashboard. So the dashboard, it has a whole lot of information in the dashboard. Just one single dashboard is going to explain so much to you. You have the SCOF on the dashboard. SCOF, I wasn't taught SCOF. I had to learn that. So a lot of planners, you think it's just planning, learning the software. There are a lot of things more than just the software. The SCOF is something. For management, they want to see the SCOF. They want to see how your plan from when you start the project and where the project is going, how far you've been able to do. Do you understand? So you have, for every month, you have your actual and you have your plan. So the curve is going to show you. So the management will look at the curve and tell you which month you didn't do well, the month you did well, and all of that. So on my dashboard, I have the S curve. I have the plan and the actual and the variance. I have issues. What are the issues we are having on the project? Then I have the work that were done, you know, that are adding up to the progress we have. you know. Then I have the project finish, the project baseline start, baseline finish, then the current or the, will I say, the the forecast finish date is there. So you have those duration, you have everything there. So when you see the dashboard, it tells you everything about the project. You are able to understand. So this is how I was able to develop over time a report that, even for the management, once they see that, a layman can understand what everything means. So I made it so simple for everyone to be able to understand. Because another thing is making a report. The other thing is for people to be able to understand the report you've made. So that was how I was able to develop this, and it has really helped. Currently, with the project I'm doing, every day I do a report. So I have pictures of the progress on site. I have the plan, I have the actual, I have the variance, I have activities done. Then I have activities that I'm going to do for the next day. Then I have the safety, there's the part for safety. People that were on site, the unsafe act on site. So all of these are on my dashboard. So in one dashboard, you can tell everything about the whole project.
Yeah, fantastic, Leonard, man. That's nice, But basically, what you're saying, what I understand from what you're saying is basically telling a story, a good story that people will
Yes,
be able to understand. Because I think for me,
exactly.
planning is also a story as well. But from the way you've explained about how you do your report is about telling a story, a good story that everybody will be able to connect with, which is absolutely
Very
great.
true. Yes.
Good. But in progressing, starting junior and now you progress to like a senior planner to say, senior planning engineer, what is that thing you look back and say, if I knew I would have done things differently or done it this way, what is one thing that you can say, that would help people that want to get into planning and say, if I knew earlier, I would have done things differently. What is that one thing to say?
Okay. I think one thing I will look back and say, if for people who want to get into planning, is you must have or you must do in-depth planning. You must do in-depth planning.
When you say in-depth planning, what does that mean?
You must break every item on your WBS down that even a layman can understand. So you must have that progression of those planning activities, what happens, the way they follow to the smallest activity. Because sometimes you get on site and you discover you're doing activities that are not on the schedule, that were not planned for, because they were too small that you didn't capture them. But those activities impact greatly on your progress. Like now we do lesson lengths. So we take note of every issues on every project. The project we are doing now, we've taken lessons lengths, we've written them down, So after the whole project, we're going to review and see things that we didn't do right, things that we're supposed to do and we didn't do it well, and all of that. So from the planning aspect into the project execution, into the project closeout. Because I have a project closeout report I do. The last project I did a project closeout. So some of these things were captured, So if I look back and I see some of the things that I didn't do right were the initiation stage. Make sure you carry every stakeholder along. Don't just assume that everybody understands
the program,
the scope of work. Yes, they understand the scope of work. They understand the schedule. They understand how the project is going to. Don't just assume, because when you get into the project, you will know that a lot of people are lost in the project, even your own project team. So it's always good to have that project kickoff meeting and explain to everybody what is expected of everybody. What is the end result? Let them know from the beginning the end result. Because once you know the end result, you work towards achieving that end result. But once people don't really understand the end result, it becomes so difficult for them to go along with the project. So in the middle of the project, you're having issues. In this project, we are having certain issues. But yeah, we are dealing with them. But if we had, in the beginning, streamline every activity or every item and made every team member to understand, then maybe we would have averted some of these issues. Issues will always come in a project. Like I tell you, the costing of this project, there were some issues in the costing because some things were done by assumption. Now we get on site and we see different things that were not captured. And things like, what do you call it? There were some things that were supposed to capture in terms of if the unforeseen, we're supposed to make provision for something, but those were not made. Those provisions were not made. So now there are issues. But because we want the project to be delivered, we have to dip into our own personal pocket to make sure this project go through. And I was talking with the project engineer because I also double as a project engineer to project support to supervise some of the work. So I was talking with him. I said, now, if you want to undertake the project management system, there is change management. So if things change, yes, let's get the change management form and put it on. Yes, if you want to use your personal funds to let the project move, it's good and fine. But you have to document and you have to send that out to the management team to understand the issues. Because after the whole project, you send that out, it's going to be an issue. They're going to ask you, why did you send this when you had these issues? Why after the project? So it becomes fishy. So it's best when you have issues, there's change management. Request, that's why in project management, you have different aspects of project management. You have change management, you have resource, you have a whole lot. So it's not there for fancy. It's there for you to make use of it. So when there is a change, when there is a change in any activity, put the change management. Let the management understand what is going on, where the variation is coming from. So all of this, it has been a learning point for me and so much. Every day you learn as a planner.
Yeah, you're right, man. Every day is a school day, and I think you also have to factor the point of giving an early warning system. Like you have an early warning system, to know that okay, this is going to happen, and if it happens, this is the change that's going to require for this project. And I know you mentioned costs, just a few minutes ago, and when you look at time, costs, and scope,
Resource,
within
yeah,
you know
scope. Yeah.
within the project management system, and if we don't monitor each of these three things within the triangle,
Yeah.
one is going to suffer, which is in between, which is the quality of the project, but for you, these three things: cost, scope, and time, which of them you think is most important in terms of delivering a project?
I know these questions will always come, but in terms of delivering the project, I don't think anyone is more important than others because they all work together. If one suffers, another one is going to suffer. If you think you want to focus on one mode and the other one is going to suffer. Now, cost. You need cost to deliver. Okay, let me give you an instance. Somebody might come, you have two vendors that are coming for a particular activity to deliver for you, right?
Mhm.
One is giving you a cost of, let me say, $10, for instance. Another one is giving you a cost of $5. It doesn't mean that the one that is giving you $10 doesn't really, the one that is giving you $5 is because it's cheap, doesn't mean that it's going to give you, you are going to get the best quality. And it also doesn't mean that the one that's giving you $10 is going to give you the best quality. So now, before you choose between these two guys, you have to understand what is their end result. Some of them are just giving you $5 because they want to get the contract, not because they're going to deliver your standard. And maybe because you're looking at cost. Okay, let me go with the guy with $5. At the end of the day, you mess up the whole job. So all these things are going to be put into consideration. And when you mess up the whole job, what happens? The time, your timeline for your project has exceeded because you want to find a way to correct the mess that has been done. Quality has been compromised. So you don't get the quality you've been looking for, or the quality that is supposed to be for that project. So all these things are interwoven. For me, I think they all work together. So you have to once you're able to get one right, every other one is going to flow. If you get your costing right, your quality will come in right, and your time will be within schedule. But the moment you mess up in one, it's going to affect the other one, and which is going to affect the other one. So, like you said, the way the triangle is, any of them can affect any of them. So I think all of them are very important. You must put an eye on these three things to make sure you deliver your project on time, on schedule, on cost, and the quality you need. Because if you deliver a project of high cost and there's no quality,
Yeah.
your project is failed. It's a failed
It,
project.
yeah, it is. It is.
So they are all interwoven. They work together.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's a very good answer. But in terms of planners, because I get questions like, oh, Kes, I am been doing planning for quite a number of years now. But I want to improve my skills. I want to learn more. I want to know, because you've been in planning for quite a number of years now. How
Yeah,
have
for more than
you?
10 years.
Yeah, more than 10 years. So how have you able to improve your skills in terms of perfecting your skills, like perfecting this craft, the craft? What are the things you've done differently, the things you'd also suggest to people that want to go into planning, or people into planning already, that you tell them, okay, this is what I've done, do it this way, and you can improve your skill in these ways. What are those things that you've done that have helped you improve your skills as a planning engineer?
Okay, so some of the things I've done is like every 2 or 3 months, I do a professional course. I refresh myself. I don't just sit down and say, oh, I've been planning for 10 years, so I know everything. You cannot know everything. So you need to improve yourself every time, every minute, every day. So what I do every 3 months, I engage in one course, that is tailored towards planning. And when I do those courses, they help to improve me. And sometimes I do courses that are not even related to planning. So I will have that market value, so I can add value to other departments. And that's why currently my current job, I don't just act as a planner alone. I also double as a project engineer. So I support the project engineers because I have a background in engineering, so I'm able to distinguish myself in that aspect that, oh, okay, so if we are looking for this, okay, we have someone, not just as a planner, but we can also use him somewhere. So you need to have that value. You need to be valued, because if you just have just the planning skill, a time will come, they might have another person to replace you as a planner. But what are those extra things you have to contribute to make them, if they want to replace you, oh, okay, he has this and that. So even if we are not using him as a planner, we can use him as this. We can use him as that. He can have support. He can support us. Like when I will tell you a thing, when my company wanted to do an analysis for the generator we were supposed to use in one of our projects, I was given the task for me to draw the wattage, the consumption, the power consumption. So I did the power analysis and the power consumption of the generator to be able to determine the kVA generator they will need for that site. So these are some of the added value, so they would have gone out to get an electrical engineer to probably do that for them, but I was able to do that to tell them, okay, we need XYZ kVA of generator for you to run that site. So for me, I think every planner should have the ability to improve themselves, do some professional courses, go to YouTube. YouTube has been my friend. So if I have any difficulties, I go on YouTube and I type the problem, and I'll see a whole lot of people ready to give me answers. Then I go through the answers and I begin to, weigh and balance. Then I'm able to come out with a solution to my problem. You understand? So I think planners should make YouTube their friend or make Google your friend. You can Google issues and all of that. And you can also follow other planners and learn from them. You can also have a mentor that is a planner that will assist you when you have difficulties. You talk to him. He's going to give you an idea. So you can use his idea, to solve whatever problem you have and all of that. So these are things that have been able to help me over time. I have a mentor that if I have an issue, I'll run to him and say, oh, see, I have this issue and all of that. So he will advise me and I'll put two to two together and I'll have a solution to my problem.
Yeah, that's right, Leonard. You just mentioned mentor now. I think the importance of having a mentor, as a planner, it's kind of like overlooked, because me planning, I also had a mentor as well. I think it's one thing that aspiring planners should kind of look at, And before the show, we were talking about issues with planning in Nigeria, and because in the UK, yeah, I would say things are, I wouldn't say perfect 100%, but there are issues everywhere. But I know that the processes here will probably be better than in Nigeria. But for you, in Nigerian environment, what are the issues with planning in Nigeria? Because I really want to know, because I just wonder how planning is carried out in Nigeria, as to the UK.
Oh, okay. Planning in Nigeria is more technical, I would say, because sometimes it doesn't really go as planned. So
it's like that with other projects. Every project as well. It doesn't go as planned anyway.
Yeah, but we have a lot of hindrances that really makes us not to meet our demands, meet our targets and all of that. And like I say, some of these issues are finance, right? And some of them are resources, and some of them are just management issues. So there are certain things that management can just do, and they just delay you. And you wait for this person to do approval before they send to that person, and now send to this other person. Just a little thing, and you discover an activity is going to stay 2-3 days just because the management is not able to take decision. So these are one of the issues. Then we have some of them that the financing is coming from the government, interested parties. And once the government is out of power, the next government comes, that project is abandoned. So
that's typical, man.
I'm telling you, So change the government is a problem. So even when you are working, you are praying that, oh, this project will finish before the next government comes, because you're not sure that the
Jesus.
next government is going to continue. It's going to be an abandoned project, and they've taken money. Some of these monies are 100% from the government on that project. So, and you are just left there, and there's nothing you can do. So you just have to demobilize and take the losses and move on. So it's really difficult here, to sometimes meet up with plan. Then sometimes you have issues with vendors. Vendors are some of the people who cause your project to delay.
Like
Some of
when
them
you
are
say
not.
vendors, you mean like subcontractors?
Yes, subcontractors. So a lot of them are not truthful. A lot of them are, yeah, you do your due diligence. In Nigeria, they have a lot of packaging. They'll bring documents. If you want the best document, they'll give you. You will see these documents, and the documents alone, you give them the job. Some of them don't even know jack about that. But because they've been able to present themselves, they can even hire someone that will come and talk, and wow you, and you'll be clapping, and you give them the job. Then get into the project, you hear stories. Oh, this one is happening. Oh, we are sorry, something is coming from US. Oh, something is coming from China. Oh, the ship broke down. Okay, this, don't worry, we'll deliver in 2 weeks. Oh, don't worry, tomorrow we'll be on site unfailingly. Before you know, you are spending more than the time frame. A project, an activity that is supposed to be in 5 days, you are using 20 days, 1 month to do an activity. And all of these have impact on your project, the timeline, the cost, the resource. So these are some of the issues we face here. I don't know if it's if these issues are peculiar, but trust me, here there are a lot of challenges for you to plan and you finish within time or before plan.
But don't you have like over here we work with the NEC contracts, those kind of like a governing body that oversee, contracts within stakeholders, contractors, that kind of like govern the projects. But in Nigeria, don't they have like anybody that's kind of like oversee contracts?
We don't have any of that. Contracts are between two parties, the contractor and the client. So they define how they want their contract to go, and how they want their progress to be measured. So some of them, there are fines. If you delay at certain time, you have to pay for delays. Some of them, they are nothing. There are no delays charged. So the only people who you actually have those kind of delays charges are the IOCs, the international companies, because those are very serious people, and they take their timeline serious. They take project planning very serious, and they want to meet timeline because they know what it means not to meet timeline, the cost implication and all of that. So all these guys take this thing serious. But outside these guys, the rest, will define anything, whatever is not. We don't define the time. We don't define the fines to be paid. So we just run projects, and we can run till any year that the project decides to finish. So these are the challenges we have here. Trust me.
Oh my god! So, but they haven't said that, but there are projects that are being completed in Nigeria, So, would you say that those projects, they probably take longer, or like you just mentioned about projects being abandoned at some point, due to change of government or change of management as well, can be also a factor, that affects project, But would you say would you say that on a ratio of, like, let's say a figure of 10, how many projects, from your experience, projects you've worked on, how many projects actually go through these issues that you just mentioned?
I'll tell you a whole lot of them, though in a way, we've been able to go through certain projects, but I don't think there's any projects that will finish within the time we planned that we're going to finish. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Okay, now I can tell you the current where I am now. There are projects that though they are small projects, projects that are probably 1 week, 2 weeks. So these projects are able to meet timeline. But you see the project that are supposed to take 1 year, more than 6 months, I'm not sure any of them will finish any of them within timeline because the issues that are going to come, there are so much that you will be overwhelmed. You cannot finish them. Even if you have the zeal to finish them within that time frame, you cannot. So that's what it is, sincerely.
Hey, man, nice one, Leonard. It's been a great show so far. You've really said, a lot of things that would help me. Help other planners as well, people that want to get into planning as well, which is great. But for you to, tell like someone ask you, Leonard, I like you, I like what you do, I like your skills as well. Why should I hire you? Like, just give us like a summary of, why you're a good planner. Why should someone look at you and say, Leonard, I listened to his interview. I think I want to talk to him, and why should someone even speak to you or even ask for your CV?
Okay, for me, I've worked in the worst condition. So that alone gives me, I'm telling you, because if you work in the condition I've worked in, then I don't think there's any other thing that will be more difficult than what I've been able to go through in terms of planning. So I've been in the worst situation in terms of planning, and all these I've gathered in-depth knowledge. I've understand, and I've worked in different terrain. I've worked in different field. I've moved from oil and gas. I've moved into construction. I've moved into telecommunication. I've moved into gas, real estate. So I've cut across all this, and I've been able to build my wealth of experience by going through all of this. And I keep my eyes so much on detail. Like when I do my planning in depth. So I try to get every detail as much as I can. And I do my reporting so easy that everyone can understand. Even if you are just, joining the company and you see my report, you can catch up. You can understand what I'm trying to pass across the management or trying to explain. So I put every detail there for you to be able to read, because writing a report is another thing. Trying to read and understand the report is another thing. Some people can do report and you cannot even interpret what the report is talking about. My variance. So what I do, I draw a line between my actual and my plan, and I write my variance there. So once you see my S curve, I'm able to, work in difficult environments. I've been able to handle difficult projects. So with all of this, I don't think anyone will not want to hire me, because I've gone through over this in a couple of years, more than 10 years. I've had to go through all of this, and I have this teamwork with. I know how to work with team. Like that's one of those things you just have to learn. See how you can work with team to achieve great results. So I carry everybody along in terms of my planning. So I make the project team understand my plan. So I share my project schedule with everyone, and I tell them what are my critical areas, what are my challenges that I'm going to meet subsequently, and I infuse everybody into this project plan, and it helps me to deliver um, uh, the the project activities on time and within schedule. Even if sometimes we face some of these difficulties, but at least we try as much as we can to deliver within time frame.
Yeah, absolutely, Yolanda. And I think the one thing I picked from there is having the having been is to have to be able to communicate, with the
Yes,
with team member.
team.
Communication is,
Yeah,
is key. Is great as well.
it's
It's
key.
nice. It's key. But for us to end the show, for us to leave this, what is that thing you want to leave people with? Put out, listen to it, and watch the video as well on YouTube. What is that thing that you want to leave them with?
Okay, planning is great. It's awesome. It's beautiful. When you get into it, you love it. When you're into planning, it becomes part of you. It's like a culture, so it's not something you want to drop. So for me, I encourage more people to come into planning, because I know at the time we had issues like, okay, we didn't have much hands planning. The ones we had, they didn't have that much of experience. And most of these companies really want to get guys who are really experienced in terms of planning and all of that. So we didn't have much of that. So I want to encourage more people to get into planning, to come in and experience what it is. And also, if you are a planner, try as much as possible to up your skills. Try to make Google your friend. Try to make YouTube your friend. Try to have a mentor and try to understudy others also. So you're able to be grounded so that when you're working or when you're talking in a meeting, you're talking with a whole wealth of experience. Because some planners are not able to defend their plan in terms of when they have meetings. I've had issues like when people tell me, "Oh, why are we having this kind of progress? Why is our actual this low and all of that?" So you should be able to stand up to explain why this is this. But what I do is in my report, I raise these issues that I have. I raise my critical activities, and I tell why we are having this variance, because you should always explain why you having the variance, what's causing the variance, so which activities are causing the variance. So list those activities and why those activities are those activities within. Are there something you can handle? Are there something the management can handle? Are there something the team can handle? Why are these variants there? So you need all of these for you to be able to get a good result in terms of your planning and in terms of delivering a project. So let's if you want to go into planning, put your eye on these things. These details are really needed. You need all these details for you to be able to deliver your project 100%. So I think that's what I'm going to leave with everyone listening, and encourage you all to see how you can get into planning. It's beautiful, it's awesome, it's wonderful, it's something to behold.
Yeah, that's good, man. Nice, 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 nice. Like that, like that,
Thank
like that.
you.
Like that, like that. Nice, good, man. And that guy for guys that want to get in touch with you, Leonard, like they want to contact you or send you messages, where's the best place for them to get in touch with you? And I know now social media, everybody's on social media, but where is the best place?
Okay, for me, I'm everywhere. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
my WhatsApp, I'm everywhere, you know. So maybe if you want to get in touch with me on Facebook, is A4Baba, A and the letter 4 Baba. Then if you want to get to through to me on Instagram and Twitter, it's I am A4 Baba, A and the letter 4 Baba. And on LinkedIn, I am Leonard Adinya. So you can just search for Leonard Adinya and you will see me on LinkedIn. So that's just how you can reach me. Then you want to reach me on WhatsApp or give me a call, my number is +234 803 886 7495. So you can reach me on that.
Nice one, Leonard, man. It's been a nice show, grateful for your time, your effort, the answers, the conversation, it's great, and it's also good to speak to people that have been in planning for years. For me,
Yeah.
I take it as a point of learning as well, because I'm also learning from you, and the things you said about reporting, listening to this, I'll take a lot of notes, because for a planner, I think I've come to realize that is one area that we need to improve,
Very true.
area of reporting, because you should be able to tell a good story, write a good narrative
Yeah.
that
Very true.
everybody will be able to understand, and this episode, this conversation has been really, really beneficial to me, and I want to thank you. I'm grateful for your time as well.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and thank you for all you've been doing. Thank you for this time you've granted me to have this conversation with you. I really appreciate. I can't take this time for granted. Thank you so much, and I hope that we have more seasons and more time to also be on the baseline. And for every other person that is watching or listening, they should try and be on the baseline. If you're a planner and you're very good, try and get in touch and be on the baseline with Aaron, because it's been wonderful. So thank you so much. I really appreciate this time. Thank you.
So that's it, guys. That's it from us here from the Baseline Pod Show. And that's it, Leonard, man. Great, man. Great, nice.